Alrighty, this is gonna be weird, but here we go. Somebody give me a 3, 2, 1. I'm not used to.
Right?
Pete.
All right. 3, 2.
Good news, everyone. You're obviously confused and aroused.
Then where are we now?
Do you have idiots on your planet?
It's me, Zoidberg, remember from high school?
I've come down with a searing case of who gives a crap, but you're listening to Slurmcast, a podcast for no reason. Today we'll be discussing Season 9, Episode 10, Near Death Wish. My name is Michelle Burlingame. Not with me are Tommy Roulette.
How's it going?
Pete Woodward.
I think that's me.
And our guest today, my best friend and lead singer of the band Lydia Puccini.
Hey, hey, hey.
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 How's
Hey.
it going?
We've been talking about having you on for, I think, 2 years.
Yep.
I think so. Yeah, it's probably been about that long.
Yeah, so if our listeners can probably tell, we are none of us in the same room. We are recording remotely. Took us some fun times to get this all worked out, but we're up and at 'em, and we are recording an episode. How's everybody's quarantine going?
Well,
Welcome, Pete.
the fucking guy from Fountains of Wayne died today.
I
just saw
know.
that.
That's so sad.
Like seriously, one of the best pop songwriters of the last 30 years. Like that guy was
Right.
brilliant. That's a super bummer.
Yeah,
So there's that.
I have school still, so I got that going, but I hate online classes, so it's kind of just a pain in the ass.
Oh, it's terrible.
It's
I'm still
boring.
working from home, which isn't bad, but I mean, there's only so much Animal Crossing you can play until you're.
And I couldn't even get a Switch because they were all sold out when I went to buy one.
It's because
I was
everyone's
late
like,
to the
"Oh."
party. Yep. So, yeah, that's pretty different this week for everybody. It's different for us. It's different for everybody listening.
Yeah, it's real strange.
Mhm.
On a positive note, new season of Nailed It came out today. Been able to revisit some nice old movies with my daughter. So I showed her Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure last night, and I'm like, sometimes it takes her a while. Like I took her through One Crazy Summer and Billy Madison and Happy Gilmore, and
Oh,
it
so good.
Nice.
it took her a little bit, but like Bill and Ted, like a minute and a half, 2 minutes in, she's just like, oh, this is funny. I love it. And then it was just like
Yes.
glued to the whole thing, which is unusual as hell. So that was good.
Michelle, didn't we go to the drive-in one time? We saw Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, and then we also saw Wayne's World
Yes.
too. It
Yes,
was
but
awesome.
you got tired and we had to leave like halfway through Wayne's World because it was
Yeah,
like 2
I think
a.m. and we were both about to pass out.
I think I actually did fall asleep, but the dope thing about that was if you went to the drive-in that night, you actually got a free pack of like retro Bill
Yeah.
and Ted's Excellent Adventure cards.
What?
And yeah, they were so cool. Michelle, do you have yours?
They're literally, I touched them today. They're in a box right next to my computer.
Yes.
Yeah, here we go. The people who are listening can't tell, but we are recording on video, and I am showing them these amazing Bill and Ted playing cards.
Those
or
are
collector
fantastic.
cards.
And they're
We're
vintage
with you.
too.
They are Bill and Ted's most atypical movie cards.
That's fantastic.
But yeah, it's a great movie. I'm glad you're teaching your daughter about the classics.
Well, and
Yes.
of course, like as I'm watching that with her, I get a unpleasant text from my ex-wife being like, "Oh, I was going to show her that because that's one of my favorite movies. So now we need to have a list of who gets to
That's
show
not
her
fair.
what movie." I was a little put out. This is like, I can't like show my 10-year-old Quentin Tarantino movies yet. Like you got Ferris Bueller. I can have Bill and Ted's. It's fine.
That's a good trade. That's a trade that's fair.
It's very just look. Don't don't ever get married, and then don't ever get divorced twice. Just, it's real simple. So this episode, fuck.
Yeah.
Aren't you glad you waited for this one, Lydia?
Hell yeah.
I did not like it at all.
It's a really, really dumb episode.
Yeah, it's really dumb.
Except
A lot of
we'll get to it, but the whole joke about the Matrix is actually that was my favorite part.
That's
of that.
solid.
Mhm.
well, but then there's a whole bunch of retcon going on, and it's just this seems like such a throwaway from top to bottom. Like I don't know, the good jokes got expended in like the first 5 minutes with the Clippy Awards, and then that was that.
Mhm. I did like during the Clippy Awards they had the in memoriam for delivery boys who were lost that year, and it was the
Train.
exact same three that were up against Fry.
Yeah, well, and it was
it's Clippy.
It was incredible.
well, and then them saying what it was that killed them, which is.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't watched an awards show in a long, long time. So they like don't do that at the Oscars or anything now where they're like, Burt Lancaster, cancer. Like they're just like, I think on, oh shit, they recycled that joke on I Think You Should Leave during the baby beauty pageant. They showed all the babies who died and then they're like, why they died. Or how
I
they
still
died.
haven't watched that show, but
God.
I know that you've told me to watch it like 15 times.
It's no Murdoch Mysteries, but it's really fucking good.
I keep telling people to watch Murdoch Mysteries and no one's watching it.
What is it?
So it's this Canadian show that I saw when I was kind of drunk at 3:00 in the morning after getting home from the bar. Nobody else was home and I wasn't ready to go to sleep. I had to take off my makeup and whatever, and I was still like awake somehow. So I turned on the TV and this random episode came up of this goofy, it's kind of like Doctor Who, kind of like Sherlock. It's a detective show set in Toronto. It starts out in the late 1890s and then it goes into the early 1900s. They do like a turn of the century thing, but there are so many like famous scientists who pop up, and this Murdoch detective, he's like the super genius and he invents all these things like before the actual person who invented the thing. Like he accidentally comes up with like, the baby bouncer. And
So is he more oh shit, well, is he more MacGyver or more Professor Farnsworth?
He's definitely not a Farnsworth. He's kind of prudish, which is like they make fun of how like Catholic and reserved he is on the show, and everybody else in Toronto is a Protestant, so they even kind of like sometimes make fun of him for being like the only Catholic in Toronto. And it's also got like a little bit of an X-Files thing going on because he's a detective that works with a female coroner who is like super smart and he's in love with her, and it's kind of got that Mulder and Scully thing going on.
I don't know. I still think it'd be better if it was Murdoch from the A-Team. It could even do it as like it could have been like his grandfather or something. But I mean, I guess that plays back into this thing. Like they're having this award show and Fry's up for an award, shockingly. What was the category? It was like
Miscellaneous.
Yeah,
right? Miscellaneous.
I think it was like delivery boy of the award for best delivery boy, newspaper, phone book, or miscellaneous.
Yes, yeah.
Right. Miscellaneous, that's me. And so he, he's all excited to be in contention and then to be a shoo-in because the other three people who were in the category were the three delivery boys who died in memoriam.
Right.
But then he gets upset because the professor isn't there to support him. But like, I never felt like there was a real familial vibe between them anyway. Like this just feels completely fucking contrived right out of the gate. I was enjoying more of the stuff with like Dwight and his 10-minute or Dwight was Deliver-A-Wig or Dial-A-Wig, But then there was that Johnny Johnson who had like the 10-minute underwear delivery.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Was there like a dial-a-cat or something like that?
Rent-a-cat.
Rent-a-cat, yes.
Incredible.
But the 10-minute underpants, like that's a shoo-in. I'm surprised that's not like it's based like if you could take MeUndies and then turn it into an Amazon Prime Now delivery, like how good would that be?
Yeah. Oh, Dwight's category was best newcomer on a bicycle.
But you know, some of the like what was going on with the announcer when he went to open the envelopes and was like, "Ah!" Like he was screaming in pain. I didn't get why.
Yeah, that was I did notice that too. It was like a really overdone grunt.
Yes.
And it was like the robot was trying to rip apart it was a delivery pack, like one of those FedEx, you rip the little
like the string off
of it. It was one of those.
I think it was just a
packages.
lame joke.
Yeah, I agree.
Delivery boy joke.
First of many. Fry wearing shorts with a tuxedo, not a lame joke. That was fantastic.
And the fish sticks were limp.
So one of the few kinds of meats I can actually feed my daughter is chicken sticks, which are, you know, fish sticks, but made out of chicken. But like, it's had me thinking lately, especially during this quarantine time when I have to go and stock up and basically take whatever is there. Like, I don't know what your grocery shopping experience has been, but it's real hit or miss. Some days it's like, okay, they're keeping the shit together. And then some other days it's just like everything's fucking gone. And people don't understand social distancing.
Right.
It's insane. Like, stay away from the Aldi on 117th because those people have not fucking heard about it.
Oh yeah,
I would not
way.
even try going there. I've been to the Giant Eagle.
Even if there weren't a quarantine, I would not go to the Aldi on West 117th ever again.
The problem, I've been to sundry grocery stores. Part of the issue is my girlfriend has a bakery and she needs to buy supplies and she kind of has to get like weird shit sometimes. So it's like, all right, we got to go to Aldi. And you go to Aldi and it's just like, okay, they have the cheese curds and the figs, but why the fuck is everybody else like on top of each other in here?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, and it's nuts. Like the Giant Eagle's a little better, but I don't know. Like I just don't get the I don't even remember where I was going with this because my brain is turning to mush slowly. I'm sorry. Stay out of the grocery stores. That's really the point, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, we're talking about limp fish sticks.
Oh, that's okay.
Eating BB chicken sticks.
Thank you. Okay. Let me get back on the tangent. So what other kinds of stick-like food are acceptable besides fish and chicken?
French bread.
But that's bread. I mean, like, what's the thing that gets fashioned into the shape of a sticks?
French fries.
Mini corn dogs.
Those aren't really sticks. Those are more like ovular.
Yeah, those are like little pills. They're little pills of goodness. And the French fries are
celery sticks.
I mean, like, okay, let's limit it to protein.
Steak on a stick.
Steak on a stick is really just a skewer. Right?
It's
a kebab.
It's like it's a satay. Oh. I've been watching a lot of food travelogues and been seeing a lot of those rotisserie grills for kebabs lately, and it's really got me thinking. Like piling up a shawarma with sausage and then flaps of meat, and then sausage and then flaps of meat, and then they fire it up, and you're like, God damn, that looks good.
Well, it wouldn't be an episode of Slurmcast if we didn't talk about food for a half an hour. So
Exactly.
I know.
Well, I'm in the right place then.
meat on a stick.
Minutes into the episode. So Fry gets really mad because Professor doesn't show up when he wins his Clippy. So they all leave. He storms out angrily from the Clippy Awards show and goes home to Planet Express.
Were those named after the Microsoft clip?
They're clipboards, like the delivery thing. Okay. Oh, that was the other thing, is that when Fry got his Clippy award, the the presenter bot made him sign
Sign a
the-
waiver.
Yeah. So yeah, Fry goes back to Planet Express and starts yelling at Professor about not showing up to the Clippies, and Professor says he came down with a searing case of who gives a crap.
There was a great line right before that when he's showing the trophy off, and is it Bender and Scruffy or Hermes and Scruffy that are talking, and they're like, you could really bash the hell out of a skull with this, and Scruffy's just like, yeah, I know, right? Like he's just like, he's got it all figured out, and that's his only line in the whole show. But that was like just a nice little drop in from Scruffy. It was good to see that he's still thinking of murder and just being there.
Michelle, remember at your Halloween party when that person dressed up as Scruffy? That was the best costume
What?
there.
Yeah, that was one of my old roommate's friends came dressed as Scruffy.
Incredible costume.
Was that just Scruffy, or was it Sexy Scruffy? Because I
No,
there's something ringing
Sexy
a bell.
Scruffy. Sexy Scruffy was this past Halloween. I saw her at a bar Halloween party that I went to, and man, I never thought I'd be in a gender swap Scruffy as much as I was. When I saw that chick, I went up to her. I mean, she looked really good. I won't go into it. She had like one of those Lycra, like skin tight bodysuits on, and she was the Scruffy from the episode where they're gender swapped.
Okay.
And she pulled it off. she had like the mustache, and she had a plunger over her shoulder at the bar, and I was like, oh my god.
Tell me more.
I actually asked her if she wanted to come on, so maybe someday she will. 'Cause she seemed into it. Maybe she's listening now. Maybe I scared her off.
Reveal yourself, sexy female Scruffy. But this is really where this whole giant retcon comes. And this is the thing that bothered me about the whole episode is when Fry pops up in the year 3000. They're like, they stick him with the chip, and they're like, you have only one relative who's still alive.
Right.
And it's the professor. Well, then they're like, oh yeah, the professor's parents are still alive. And then, spoiler alert, as we'll get to briefly, there was another brother who's apparently still alive too. Or no, he's not, because Bender killed him, but it makes it sound like Bender killed him after Fry had already come back to life.
Did Bender kill him? I thought well, we'll get to it. I don't think Bender killed him.
I'm pretty sure he did, but we'll discuss later. So like, why didn't Ned and Velma show up as DNA matches to Fry prior to this? Because they're in near death, or was it the near death star? But they're alive. They're just sort of in like battery retirement.
Yeah, that's weird. How long do you think they can be kept alive while also serving as batteries somehow? The whole schmagoigle.
I mean,
how long do you think they could? Forever? Because they seemed like not even older than Professor.
No, I imagine they're in some sort of state of suspended animation where everything slows down. I don't know how the Matrix works, but
yeah.
But Gam Gam and Shabadoo.
They were were they were in room 1119. Is that a reference to something that I'm not getting?
I didn't pay attention to that.
I didn't go deep into it, but I don't know. I didn't see anything.
It wouldn't. I mean, it's not like it's a binary number or something. It might, whatever.
Yeah.
It's just, is it like, I don't know. They go to the near Death Star where they've been before. Which I thought, wasn't it more like a retirement home before, or was everybody in comas? There's just like a separate section of the near Death Star.
Let's boldly go where we've gone before.
But that, good to know that having a Clippy will get you in anywhere.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was. We saw it before when the professor, he was trying not to go there because he had been lying about his age, and he wasn't actually 150 years old. He was 160.
That's right.
So they didn't. I don't think they really showed all that much, and it. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it quite looked as Matrixy as it did in this episode, but yeah.
They were like, no one's gonna look into this, even though we're
Yeah.
totally looking
Yeah.
into it.
What episode did they go to it before?
It was season 2, I believe. Let me see.
Because I forgot that they had gone back.
Yeah, it was A Clone of My Own was the name
Oh,
of the episode.
was that
yeah.
where Hubert was brought in?
Yes.
Yeah, because the professor was older than he said he was.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why
So
we
he
blocked
had
it out, because it was fucking Hubert.
Yep, and everybody hates Cubert.
It's the worst. Yeah, and actually, why didn't Hubert show up in any of this stuff either?
Yeah, really. You'd think Cubert would want to meet Graham and Shabadoo.
I love I love.
That was a good joke.
The
I like
other-
that.
The other line in this whole episode that I really like is, "I know Shabba don't."
Yeah. Graham likes it in there, and I know Shabadoo.
Shama don't.
So what was with all of the they really doubled down on shitting on the Matrix.
Yeah.
They did.
Because The Matrix is a bad, overhyped movie.
I mean, is that in light of the 2 diminishing return sequels, and I likely the third diminishing return sequel, like by itself, in and of itself, and in the context of when it came out,
Mhm.
was it? I mean, I think it was
loved the
fine.
first Matrix. I loved it. So I mean, the other 2, I never saw the third one, so I don't know, but I know the second
Yeah, me
one wasn't
neither.
very good. But I think just
Mhm.
broken down, certain elements of the Matrix as a story overall are just kind of laughable. But I think for the time, the main thing, I think it was the visual effects that they used.
Yeah, the bullet
So-
time.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
Right.
was just kind of cool that the concept, the idea of that, but then I don't know.
So I
usually
wonder.
they're
I
making
wonder
another
if
one.
I heard that. I wonder if the whole now I'm wondering if the Matrix thing was a reference. Like, did one of the writers on Futurama write on the Matrix too? Is that maybe they were
All
making
that
fun of
hate.
him, or maybe they were just shitting on the Matrix? I don't know. But the
My
whole
brother My
Go ahead.
brother absolutely wore a trench coat for like a year after The Matrix came out. Like
Did
100%.
he have the
Yeah,
glasses
those terrible
too?
glasses? Yep. Yeah.
Mhm.
Michelle
have-
knows my brother knows that he would look like a total goon in
Yep, I can see it. I can see it already.
I mean, I think most people look like goons in those.
Except for Keanu Reeves.
Well, it's hard to make him look like a goon. I mean, no, what's funny is apparently with 5th grade girls, Alex Winter, aka Bill S. Preston Esquire, trends a lot higher than a 1988 Keanu. Like between
Really?
Yeah.
between the two,
ugh.
the girls like those curly locks.
What?
Maybe in the Lost Boys. Maybe I don't know.
Oh, with the mullet, the Marco
Yeah,
mullet,
with that big long mullet. Yeah.
and no dialogue.
Yes. I don't know. I liked his mullet. I think it looked a little bit better than in Bill and Ted's.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I just want to be the saxophone guy if I'm
Oh,
being
God.
honest.
I
One of the
still
reasons
believe.
why I hate saxophone in music because I just
Just-
think of that guy.
Oiled up, mullet slicked back, big saxophone. You just toss up in the air. It's a whole really. That guy was committed, and it was just like, hey, here's our nightly county fair. Here's the sax guy, and everybody's just loving it, eating it up. I guess the whole thing where they just easily zapped into the VR world where Graham and Shabadoo was. It's another one of those things where it's just like, all right, like make this happen.
Is
They
it
only had a
safe?
40% chance.
It's 40% safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was also
Although-
apparently Latin script and alien script in the like when they're going through it, and they were supposed to say
Yeah.
things. Like one was
Well, when they landed, go for it.
no, get off my lawn. Did I already take my pills? My grandson's a doctor, and my knee hurts.
Well, but then they landed in Trovu Manor, which, thanks to Duolingo, I know means too old manor. So that was the name of the nursing home they were in the virtual world. But I don't know. The one thing I liked about it was that giant virtual puzzle. How fucking good would it be to have one of those right now, where you could
The
just
infinite puzzle.
Yeah, I have a 1,000-piece puzzle of the cover of the last Sparks album that I got from their merch site, and it took me 3 weeks to put it together because there's like the stuff that makes sense, and then there's a hippopotamus in a swimming pool, so like 2/3 of this puzzle is just blue.
Those are the worst puzzles.
and like it would be kind of perfect now. I just can't commit to having it on my dining room table for 3 weeks again.
And then what do you do when it's done? Like we put it together a puzzle a couple years ago, and then we're like, sweet. Do we just
break it
apart and then
break it
keep
apart.
it, and then I'm supposed to find motivation to put it back together at some point in my life? Like I don't
when you're in
think so.
quarantine, you aren't motivated now?
I don't even know where that puzzle is. It's gone.
What you do is you take it all apart, keep one piece out, and then you give the puzzle to someone else, so they have to put it together. And then there's that one piece.
There you go.
And then you can be the hero and show up with that one piece.
We got a puzzle for Christmas, and like almost a quarter of it is missing the pieces, and they've replaced with like a double of a section. So we were like putting together, and we had this whole section that was exactly the same section, so we couldn't put it together.
That sucks.
Yeah, it's like some off-brand puzzle too.
Oh, you're getting your puzzles from Wish again, aren't you, Tom?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I can't even imagine.
I think it would be fun to try. What all would go into a virtual ham casserole?
I don't even know how to answer that question.
I mean, Fry seemed to think it was delicious. Yeah, is it?
Yeah.
I mean,
what goes into a regular ham casserole?
Well, ham,
obviously.
Probably mayonnaise,
some potatoes,
ham and mayonnaise.
Cream of
That's
something
what ham
soup.
Salad is.
Yeah.
I
Cream of
love
mushroom,
ham
maybe?
and I love mayonnaise, but when it's just ham and mayonnaise together, that just sounds gross.
What if you have slices of ham and mayonnaise on pieces of bread?
No, I would put turkey and mayonnaise together. Maybe
You don't put mayonnaise on your ham sandwiches?
No, mustard. Just
I
mustard.
use
yellow
both.
mustard.
Tom,
Those two.
Yeah. Tom, condiments are not mutually exclusive. In fact, they often like create a benefit of being combined.
Oh, I know that. But it's just all about, I just get creeped out by when there's too many condiments.
Well, you can mix them. You can mix them so that it only seems like there's one. Like the other day, we made these banh mi sandwiches that were unfucking believably good, but the sauce was mayonnaise with some chili paste in it and some sesame oil and a little bit of sugar. We just got it was just right, and it was perfect. And it just went on. You just one spread, one slather, but all those different flavors together was amazing.
This is a difficult podcast to be on when you're hungry and you're having dinner.
It's accurate.
I'm like, fuck, I should have eaten because now I really want all this food.
But that's why Tom will make us sit for half an hour. It's like I'll be right on after I finish my dinner. I'm like, damn you!
And
I ate
sometimes
tacos.
I'll go over to Pete's house and he'll have just made something real good in his Instant Pot, and I walk in and I immediately just get so hungry.
Like you're welcome to have some.
Oh hey, good news! Zoom just removed the 40-minute time limit on my group meeting.
I don't understand how that works. So here we are.
Yep,
Why
we're
did they
still
do
here.
that? But that's cool.
I don't know. A
I
little
think
pop
it's
up.
45, honestly.
Yeah, it
I think it's
just popped up on
45 minutes.
Yeah, it just popped up and said we've extended or removed the time limit or whatever.
Oh, shit.
All right.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah. I had a fork inside my lung once. Did you guys ever have that happen?
That's how I feel having asthma sometimes.
Yep.
but-
Yeah.
Oh my God. So you're like in quarantine and you're highly susceptible.
Apparently I am, yeah. But
That's
they did refill my inhaler, and I got it. I made my husband go get it, so it's kind of like it was delivered to me. I didn't have to go to the doctor or anything.
I've been getting messages saying that my pharmacy stuff can get delivered too. Like I just don't take it up on it, but
Hmm.
that's I don't
I
know.
made my husband do it, honestly.
Oh, that's how it works over there. I get it.
We don't
Well,
all
he
have
was out.
husbands.
He was
Yeah.
out. He was out. I was like, hey man, you gotta swing through and get that for me.
I mean, I do typically go pick up my prescriptions for my wife too. So
Yeah. And Michelle, it's literally at that Walgreens that's next to my house. Like I could probably like walk there in a minute and a half, and I was like,
I walk there all the time.
yeah, me too. It's the only thing to do in quarantine is like walk to Walgreens.
It's right between us too.
It is. It
It's like
is.
the meeting spot. So Professor's super crotchety and moldy, right?
Yeah, and has been since he was a little boy.
Yeah.
Like does that surprise anyone?
But, like,
not.
If they thought that he was the other brother, does that mean that the brother was crotchety and moldy too?
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's the big crotchety moldy family.
And do you think there's other ailments that will transcend physical existence besides bursitis? Because that was the other takeaway when they
Beside
left
what?
the thing.
bursitis.
Besides
Oh.
bursitis.
Yeah. Fun story. I was diagnosed with bursitis when what I actually had was shingles.
I remember that. I remember that.
I had shingles as like a 29-year-old. Crazy.
I remember that. Like that was like a mystery. Like, what
Yeah.
the hell is that?
And then when I wasn't contagious anymore, we went to Cedar Point.
Yes, that was how we
And I-
celebrated.
And I still hurt.
Yes.
But it was great.
Are shingles contagious?
If you haven't had chicken pox, you can get chicken pox.
Right.
But if you've had chicken pox, then you can't get shingles.
Okay,
Unless
but if
you develop it yourself. You can't catch shingles is what I should have said.
So like shingles is like the reactivation of the chickenpox virus as an adult,
Mhm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So what got you so worked up that it happened?
I honestly don't know. Probably just work stress.
Mm,
But I've got permanent nerve damage from it. Thanks,
Ugh.
Wild. Goddamn shingles.
shingles. Sometimes
I
I
don't-
get this weird tingle, like tingly, achy, numb pain that's like straight in my shoulder blade, and I'm like, oh, there it goes,
There
those
it is.
shingles.
Nerve
it
damage
doesn't-
for ya.
it doesn't sound entirely unpleasant. It sounds about 40% unpleasant.
I also can't scratch my left arm without it hurting really bad. Like, well, it was
At all?
that was my right arm. Yeah, like my skin is really sensitive because of the nerve damage in my arm from the shingles that was all over this arm. If I scratch I'll get an itch and I'll absentmindedly like scratch my shoulder, and it'll just so much pain, just like stabbing pain for like 10 seconds, and then it goes away. It's super weird.
You
should
know what
sue-
though? That might actually all go away because like I had nerve damage too, and I had a weird tingly pain for like ever, and then after a
Mhm.
couple years, it eventually went away. But it did take a
Wait.
couple years. So
It's
something.
been like 2 though. It's already
Yeah.
been 2 or 3
Well,
years
mine
since
was
I had it.
7. So and then
Um,
it eventually went away. So maybe 7 years
Maybe.
down the road, or 5 at this point.
But I think I am gonna say that shingles probably transcends physical
Transcends
existence too.
physical- I mean,
Yes.
you could always sue the Chinese. It's probably their fault, right?
No,
I mean, that's the official position of our government.
I'm not even gonna get
Ugh.
started on that.
So if I understood this correctly, Fry just kisses them goodbye in the battery box, and then the robots that triggers the elder abuse.
Yeah. Yep.
Does he pop the like cords out of them?
Yeah.
Oh,
Like
okay.
He bumped like the cables or whatever and knocked him out. That was set off an alarm.
Okay. So then he starts panicking, and if I got it correctly, he just says, "Going fastly." Like, was that what he said? Or was it like, "Let's get going fastly"? I don't know.
I thought he said go fastly.
Okay. So they do, but the little floaty thing they're on won't start. So they stuff the grandparents in as the power source, and then it works.
I like how Bender is using Fry as like he's like whacking those little ships away with his body.
Yeah,
That's
he's
pretty
a paddle.
incredible.
I mean, just boom, boom, boom. I mean, I wonder if that's you're dealing with these things that are basically floating in zero gravity. So if you it's like pushing away a balloon, even though it's got more mass. You know
That's
what
true.
I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. But man, just the rest of this, God, we're only like halfway through. It's still just so boring, this episode.
I mean, in the scheme of everything going on, I mean, most of this is just boring.
Yeah.
Life's boring nowadays.
Like there was
It's either
good
boring
part
or
with
terrifying.
Zoidberg.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
Like with Zoidberg when he got introduced to the parents, and he's like, "Oh yes, I'm very important around here." And then they're like, "Hey, you forgot to empty this trash can. Don't hit me!" and he scuttles off with it. But the professor's real, like he's automatically just pissed off because of some ugly history. Which they explain, I guess, but we're in it.
Why did he explain it to them when he was in the bath?
He was crying in the bathtub, and Amy and Leela walked in to talk to him about why he was so upset with his parents, and they added a layer of
opaque bubbles.
Opaque bubbles,
opaque
but
bubbles.
the bottle of bubbles said something funny on it. It was like, I don't know. But they poured one drop into the bubble bath, and it like exploded with bubbles. And then the professor stood up.
It was like nitro bubbles or something.
That's what it was. Nitro bubble in, I think.
Yeah. Did any of you find the Hermes like never-ending supply of old people jokes just weirdly distracting?
I didn't notice it.
Yeah, I didn't notice it either.
It was when they surprised the professor with his parents, and then Hermes was just like, he just kept going. It was just like real hacky, like old people jokes. So it didn't make a lot of sense. But I don't know. It was just weird. And then that's when Fry came back in with the grandparents, and they're all eating ice cream. He's like, how was your trip to the mall or whatever? He's like, it was great. Gram fell down at the ice cream store. We all got free ice cream. Like,
and then they all took a nap.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I wish I had more time to nap. If I didn't have to work, I'd be napping a lot more.
I napped today.
I don't ever nap. I just can't. It just doesn't happen for me. No, I just sleep at night. I can't even nap like on a plane. It just doesn't work for me.
Well, I can't do that because I don't fit on planes. But like, how many hours do you sleep at night?
I mean, it depends. During coronavirus, I get like way more sleep because I'm not like waking up, getting ready, and driving to work.
Right.
But normally like 6 maybe.
Mm.
Yeah, it's probably about what I get. I've been staying up way too late though.
Me
lately.
too.
Like I haven't been doing stuff, so I feel like I don't get tired at the end of the day anymore.
Right,
because you're not moving around.
Yeah, so it's like 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, well, I guess I better make myself go to sleep, and then I sleep until like 6. Yeah.
That
And then being an adult, your body is like, oh, you can't sleep in anymore. You got to wake up, at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it comes back around. Trust me. God, I've got some experience with this. I guess, so how did you feel about the professor's, explanation of their history and why it was so problematic and stuff?
Well, I did so we'll just give a little breakdown in case anybody listening hasn't seen the episode, which they should, or not. I guess it's not a great episode. So Farnsworth says he had a perfectly normal adolescence in New York. His parents were simple hedge fund managers who couldn't appreciate his interest in science. So it shows them exhausted in an apartment, and he's trying to show his parents what he made, which is it was a frog with a rat's head sewn on it,
Yeah.
named Squeakers.
Did you see that it still had the frog's tongue too?
Yeah.
It was
And
beautiful.
He
Yeah.
said, my parents crushed my dreams like a discarded frog head. There's a lot of good jokes in this episode for being an episode that isn't very good. There are a lot of little, like, one-off, very funny jokes.
Yeah, there's one coming up that was really good.
Yeah. So he gets into MIT and he's 14 years old, but his parents say that he can't go because he's not emotionally mature enough for college. And then he freaks out, cries, and curls into a ball in his bed, sobbing, because obviously they're right. They move him out to a farm. He still hates his life, and he runs away. And he vowed never to speak to them again. This is what he says.
Right. And then he gets
So-
overcome with emotion and
Right.
just storms out and starts running around New York naked, leading to the comment, "That is one crazy uncircumcised old man," which
Yep.
I like that line. That was good. And when they were like, "Well, where's he gonna go?" He's gonna go to Queens to defile the family farm with his nudity.
Yeah.
I think. What about like the wind picked up his flaps and flew
I'm
him over the
saying.
Queen's
Yeah. Why would he go to Queens? He doesn't need tires.
That's
Also,
beautiful.
it's just weird to think like that Queens would have a farm. Like a farm would be in Queens. That's
Right.
just all city.
Well, I mean, that was in New York,
That's true.
so it could have been leveled. But
It's
then
100 miles from the nearest microscope.
they find him at the farm. He's in his old bed crying, and then there's this big reveal that he had an older brother who had this terminal condition of being a crazy ass nut job. But they said that he ran away, and then they found him, and he was put into a mental institution, but he got a full academic scholarship. I love that line. That's fantastic. Like, I want to use that in my daily life. It's really, you could just drop it out. Oh yeah, you got a full academic scholarship, and just go over their heads.
Yeah, so they say they never saw him again, and they say, we couldn't let you end up like your older brother. That's why we kept you on the farm and helped you get your online doctorate in rodeo studies. And that's where things start to fall apart, because Professor's kind of like, rodeo studies, and then Shabadoo says, we did it out of love for you, Floyd. And that's when we realized that Floyd, Professor Farnsworth, is Hubert, the older nut job. He's not Floyd, the younger rodeo studies guy.
And it was rodeo clown school. it was a correspondence rodeo clown school, which is wonderful.
Online doctorate in rodeo studies.
Oh,
Bender's joke right there was probably my favorite joke of that whole show, though. That whole
Yeah.
episode.
A couple of years ago, a homeless rodeo clown named Floyd came to the door claiming he was, and then they cut him off. I don't think Bender killed him. I think he just turned him away at the door because he was like, "Yeah, Professor doesn't have a brother."
I don't know. I think Bender killed him. I think that's where they were going with that. I mean, it's neither here nor there. Like,
It was pretty funny regardless.
exactly.
Yeah.
But again, Floyd should have popped up on Fry's DNA results when they scanned him from the olden time.
That's true. I didn't even think
Right.
of that.
So here, I mean, at this point in the game, and I get it because I feel the same way. We're like 15 episodes from the end, and nobody gives a fuck anymore. Like,
We're
I
almost
get
done
that.
with season 9. We're almost done. We have 3 episodes left in season 9, and then we have all of season 10.
And then we can take this one out to the barn and shoot it.
What's funny, like when I went onto my Hulu today to pull up this episode, the last episode I watched was the episode before this episode. Like this was the
What?
one coming up next. I was like, really? Because I hit start and I was like, oh, this is totally the wrong episode. Like it's just starting it where I paused it last. And then sure as shit, it was that actual episode. I was like, oh, that's convenient. All right.
Like, I just know that no one is watching Futurama in this house unless they have to. That's where we are now.
I can't wait to remove it from my stuff on Hulu.
like I've spent so much more time with 30 Rock lately, and it's so much more nourishing.
That'll be your next podcast, the 30 Rock podcast.
I mean, maybe we could go back to the Brooklyn Nine-Nine stuff too, because that's always wonderful.
I'm rewatching Brooklyn Nine-Nine right
Brooklyn
now.
Nine-Nine.
I can tell by your memes.
I kind of just want to do a podcast about Terry Crews and just spend an hour every week talking about how great Terry Crews is.
He is.
So they okay, this resolves. They take Ned and Velma back to the near Death Star. The professor has made peace with them, and then he's updated their retirement simulation. He reprogrammed it so that it looks like the farm, and they all go in and spend time together in this new, pleasant thing, because their old retirement home was just kind of like a shitty VR of their existence. So whatever. I mean, it's like, okay, it's a nice happy ending. Squeakers does hop by in the end.
Yeah, he
But then the
programmed
thing-
that in there.
Right.
But the thing that occurred to me, is okay, so what he basically did is put Ned and Velma into the San Junipero episode of Black Mirror.
Yeah, but this was before
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, no, I know, but okay, so San Junipero is the closing sequence of this episode of Futurama.
Yes.
Same difference.
Yeah.
Right.
One thing we did skip over that's pretty important is during the story about Hubert growing up, they said that he had night terrors. So the reason that they were always too tired to play with him during the day or give him any attention is because they were up with him all night while he sweat his pants.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Reading the periodic table of elements to them,
Yes.
to him.
That's
Yeah,
what
so they couldn't let him go to MIT because there wouldn't have been anybody there to take care of him when he sweat his pants.
Because he wasn't emotionally mature. I get
Yeah.
it, but still,
Yes.
I don't know. It just God, there was some dissonance between Ned and Velma when they're like, he would just sweat through his clothes, and he's like, oh yeah, they'd be soaking with sweat,
Yeah, sweat. That's what it
which
was.
which I read a completely different way, which is grosser than just saying they were covered in urine, but same difference. Like it was just a lot. It was a lot to take in, and honestly, I just want to go watch San Junipero again because that's really just such a wonderful, sweet love story.
It is.
It's really kind of the best.
I've been watching Unexpected. It's on Hulu. It's a TLC show that.
Oh boy.
It's like Teen Mom or whatever from.
I was gonna ask if it was about
MTV or
unexpected
whatever.
pregnancies.
Yeah, and it is all these people, their kids that are having these babies at 15. They had their kid at 15, and it's just weird. So there's like a great grandmother who's like younger than like my mom in these things. It's crazy. I do a lot of trash reality show.
Someone was just telling me about that, and they're just like, yeah, their grandmother's at 35. I'm like, Jesus God. Which, honestly, like 3 generations ago, probably was the fucking norm. But here's okay. This dovetails really nicely into this shit that I've been noticing lately. So this is my new obsession. We showed my daughter The Parent Trap recently, like within the last week. The 1961 Haley Mills Parent Trap. Okay. In that movie, the dad, Mitch, is 4 years younger than me at that point in his life. He looks years older than me. He's in great shape, but just the wear of time on his body, gray hair, fucking beat down face, wrinkles and shit. He looks way fucking older than me. Clothing aside, like he's dressing in suits and shit, but still, he just looks old. The mom was like the same age as him, Maggie. She's 40, 41 years old. But the way they have her done up, she looks to be like 50. Then the crux of this whole thing is that he's got this gold digger girlfriend, Vicky, who's real young. So she's 26 when he's 40, which means that she's almost like halfway between Haley Mills, who was 13, and him, who was 40. She's in the middle of it, but they have her done up and she looks like she's 35.
Yes.
And then her mother, the crone, is only 50, and she looks like she's fucking 70. So now when I watch a movie, like, I'm obsessed about looking at people's ages and figuring out, like, how do they, and I think the thing that started this was a couple months ago, we were watching The Manchurian Candidate, like the old original one. And Angela Lansbury is playing the main character's mother. She's 3 years older than him. 3.
What the?
She's like 40. She's like 42, and he's like 39, but she's playing his mom. And you're like, just because the girl's got jowls doesn't mean she's got to be played up. Like, because Angela Lansbury was hot. Like, if you go back and look at her younger
yeah, she was. Yeah,
she was gorgeous, and like, she just had one of those faces where it made her look like distinguished as an older, like, we'll say, handsome woman. But like, I think if you apply that even to the Golden Girls, it's like all of them were supposed to be like, here's these old retiree ladies, and they were like in their 50s. Like, it's fucked up the way this shit gets played out. It's just become an obsession with these things.
That's like watching a television show that has a whole bunch of like kids who are in school and they're in high school, and then you look it up and you're like, that person's 28 and they're playing 11th grader.
Right. Like, I think just having watched Bill and Ted yesterday,
I was just gonna say they were like 27 when they played those characters or something.
I think they were younger, but they were still early 20s. Like, they're playing like 17-year-olds, but they were probably like 25.
Yeah.
Right.
Also, their mom, and that had the same thing where like Bill's stepmom, Missy, was like,
remember that time you asked your mom to prom?
Shut up,
Ted. She was only like 6 years older than them, but also she's from Cleveland, Ohio. So yeah,
represent.
Exactly.
Brought it back around.
As I always try to. I'm rarely successful. All right. So remote episode number 1. I think we can put this in the can, right?
Yeah, I think it's good.
Yeah. So where can we find Lydia and Lilie?
Are you? I didn't even know you were asking me a question.
Yeah, plug your
on
stuff.
the interwebs.
Michelle, she's right there. She's the third one from the left.
Well, you guys are all different on my screen. Yeah. Well, I guess we're everywhere. I mean, social media. We're streaming on all platforms, so you can find us everywhere. Everywhere you look, we'll be.
You know what? I'm gonna help you out a little bit. Spell that shit, because it is not.
I was just gonna say that,
dude. It is like the most difficult thing to spell. So it's Lilieae, and it's super difficult to say and spell, but it looks cool and it sounds cool, so we'll stick with it.
That's a lot of vowels.
Tough. It is a lot of vowels.
Check them out on Spotify. New albums on there. It's really good.
It's like
Thank
Bizarro
you.
Welsh.
It's like the scientific name for like a group of lilies or something, but it looks cool. So it's difficult to spell, but we make it work.
I've been in bands where the name was a global term for no results in a search. I get it. You gotta lean into it. You go like, okay, this is the thing.
You want to know what though? It's the only one, so that's good. So there's no other
that's the important part.
So
if you Google it,
yeah.
Like, it never ceases to amaze me when someone goes to name like a new band and you're like, you didn't spend 5 fucking minutes on Google. Like,
you're like, there is 7 MySpace accounts dedicated to that name. Come on.
Right, which doesn't mean that it isn't available. It just means try a little harder.
Right.
And I mean, by that, I mean, don't change like, the U's into V's and add an S on the end. Like, Just
Yeah.
if you're a creative artist, get a little more creative.
Speaking of usernames or names, I'll have to tell you something when we're done recording. But
And I actually have something to plug. Public Access 3000 is being released on YouTube. The first episode of 3 was actually premiering as we are recording right now. So that is up on YouTube. Just go to the Aldous Mustache YouTube channel, ALDOUS, and then mustache, the way you spell mustache. And it'll be up there for an unknown length of time. But episode 2 and 3 will premiere soon. Probably by the time you hear this, they'll all be up. Please go watch them before they go away forever.
Do you spell mustache with an O or without an O?
No O.
I always use an O.
A moustache.
Yeah, that makes you want to say it like moo.
Yeah, it's
Mustache.
it's the classy way.
Yeah,
it's
I
like
agree.
The fancy.
it's like
mustache.
spelling color with a U or favor with a U. It's very it's very very fabuleux.
Yeah.
Fabuleux couleur. I've gotten really deep into the French Duolingo for this trip to Montreal. I can't go on now because the fucking border's closed. So hey,
you don't want to go right now.
I kind of do. It'll be
Don't
empty.
leave.
It'll be fucking fantastic.
But nothing will
I'm-
be open.
It doesn't matter. Don't leave.
The important stuff will be open. On that note, thanks for listening. We can be found at slurmcast.com. There's a link to all the episodes we've done of this show. We can email us at slurmcastpod@gmail.com. We're on Instagram and Twitter at slurmcastpod. We're on Facebook. You can call us at 216-438-1077. And please, look, here's the thing. You literally have nothing else to do right now. We know that. That's the state of the union right now. So go on to iTunes, write a nice review, write a shitty review. Just be like, these podcasters are thirsty. I don't want to validate that kind of behavior. Or you can be like, no, they're good. They finally got their shit together after talking about doing remote episodes for 3 years. Just do
no
it.
matter what kind of review you write, I'll read it.
She will.
I'll read it out loud in an episode, and I might make fun of you, or I might really like you and say some really nice things.
If it's mean, she'll read it in a funny voice.
And now is the time. If you want to come on the show, man, anywhere in the world, we can put you on. As long as you have a phone that you can download Zoom onto.
Yep. We
Yeah,
gotcha.
I think we need to make good on the promise with Jenny Cruz from the Nerd Moms podcast, which I'm blanking on the name, but she knows. It'll all work out.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
all right. Thanks, Lydia, for coming on being our guinea pig.
Yeah,
Thank you guys for having me.
Stay well.
Yeah.
Bye.
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 Bye.